Hi guys, Matt Thornycroft here from Lead Without Position. And today I want to talk about how to build positive habits in your life so that success and growth becomes second nature to you. So firstly, let's talk about what is a habit. Now, a habit is something that you do every day that doesn't really take you any brain power. It's something that your mind does on autopilot. For example, 90% of us will brush our teeth every morning. And it's not something that you actively think about, it's something that you just find yourself doing. Or it's something that you think, when I've had my breakfast, I need to go and brush my teeth. And it doesn't really take you any energy to get it done. It's something that is a subconscious activity and not a conscious one. As Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. So success is therefore positive habits that will get you towards your goal, compared to negative habits which will take you away from your progress and potentially just waste your time. Or even worse, it could be having a detrimental impact on your ability to concentrate, your health, and your success. So my first point in how to build positive habits is thinking about why you want to build this habit. The biggest example of failed behavior is from the New Year's resolution. And this is about the new year, new me mindset. And what people do is they think, okay, this is a new year, I'm gonna start a new habit, I'm gonna get fit, I'm gonna get healthy, or whatever it is they want to achieve. And then within a week or two, or if you've got a really motivated person, within 3 weeks, they unfortunately stop their habit. And this is a multitude of factors, such as the fact that motivation is a completely meaningless emotion, but largely it comes down to why you want this behavior. If you're thinking about getting fit and healthy, why is it that you want to do that? A lot of people feel that they have to be fit and healthy because that's what they're told to be. And actually, you don't have to do anything. So why would you stop watching Netflix and go and exercise if you don't actually know why you're doing it? Whereas someone that starts to be fit and healthy because they know that exercise is heavily tied to mental performance, and they think that exercise will help them improve their performance at work, this is a much greater reason why than someone who's just doing it because they feel that they should. And this is what's helped me build my exercise into my routine, because I really don't like the gym. However, I recognize that exercise makes such a massive difference to my concentration, to my performance throughout the day, to removing that post-lunch slump that everyone tends to feel. And that even though I don't particularly enjoy exercising, I've now got it part of my morning routine to help boost my performance. But also your why doesn't have to be related to health and fitness. It could be about building a new hobby. For example, you might want to start learning the guitar. But if you're an accountant or a lawyer or a teacher, there isn't anything in your profession that would actively get you to learn the guitar, which means that if you are learning it for professional reasons, there isn't really a why there to do that. So you need to set yourself a goal or an achievement that becomes your why as to why you're learning this instrument. For example, you might say at the end of the year, I'm going to do a performance for my family. This gives you a clear reason why you need to be creating this habit and practicing every day. So to actually build these habits, you focus on your reason why, which gives you that motivation to go and practice or go and exercise. And then you need to start slotting in this activity into your day. So as I mentioned previously, brushing your teeth is something that most of us already do without actually thinking about it. So what we can do is a thing called habit stacking. This is where you take an existing behavior that you like about your day and adding in this new behavior on top. For example, if you're trying to exercise more, then you can say, every time I brush my teeth, I do 10 squats. Or every time I finish my breakfast, I write in my positivity journal. These are all behaviors that you want to introduce, and you already have an existing behavior that you're doing without thinking, and by adding them together, you create a trigger that tells your brain to do the new behavior when you've completed your existing one. And you want to make this as granular as possible. For example, if you want to start a new morning exercise routine, then getting out of bed is probably one of the hardest things you'll do. So when you're sat there at 6 in the morning thinking, I need to get out of bed and go and exercise, you need to have your actions as small as possible, because then it becomes a lot more achievable. So you create a habit stack, which is when my feet touch the floor, I will get up and go and do my morning exercise. And again, you want to try and make this as small as possible. So when my feet touch the floor, I will put on my exercise clothes. And when I have my exercise clothes on, I will go to the living room. When I enter the living room, I will perform my morning exercise. And by creating this habit stack, you are not only making it much easier to practice, you're also breaking it down into smaller pieces that you can actually achieve. So when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to exercise, you focus on your why to get you out of bed, which will be to improve my cognitive performance. And then you start activating your habit stack to get you to do it. My second point about building positive habits is recognizing that you have to unlearn your old behavior. And the easiest way to demonstrate this is with an example. So let's give you Basic Mike. Basic Mike gets up at 7 o'clock, he has his breakfast, he goes to work for 9 o'clock, he does his work, he comes home at 5:30, he gets something to eat, goes to the sofa and watches Netflix until he goes to bed. And he repeats this behavior every day. Now, Basic Mike hits his New Year's resolution and says, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get healthy. So he goes out and he gets himself a gym membership, he buys himself loads of gym clothes, and he manages to go for the first day. So he comes home from work at 5:30, he gets his gym equipment on, he goes to the gym, comes back, eats, watches Netflix and goes to bed. And this happens for 3 days. He starts to get a bit sore, doesn't make it for the 4th day because he's decided that the only way to succeed is to go 5 times a week. And it gets to the 2nd week and he doesn't even make it on the Monday. So Basic Mike then returns to his old routine of going to work, coming home, having food, watching Netflix and going to bed. And this is something that a lot of us can relate to, because it comes down to this initial motivation, creating this new habit, and then not being able to stick to it. There are a multitude of reasons of why habits can't be stuck to, but one of the biggest and overlooked factors is the fact that you are unlearning old habits whilst creating new ones. Your brain works on a pattern of behavior. So when you perform an action, it already has an idea of what to do next as a way of saving energy and ultimately keeping you alive. So when Basic Mike goes to work and comes home at 5:30, his brain is telling him that the next action to do is get food and go to the sofa. But instead, what he is trying to do is come home, put his gym stuff on, go back out to the gym, come back, and then finish his routine, have food, go to the sofa. So what he is doing is trying to add a whole new set of tasks which require a huge amount of energy at a time where his brain is telling him to wind down. So the main thing that you need to recognize when building a new habit is that your old behavior will fight you when you're trying to build your new one. In order to combat this, you have to make your old behavior even more difficult than doing your new behavior. If there's a behavior you don't like, such as watching too much TV, then what you can do is make this more difficult. You can do this by removing the power cable and taking it with you to work. Or even, if your TV's small enough, putting it in the cupboard. By doing this, you then have to actively set up your TV if you want to watch it, which can be a lot harder than going to your living room and doing some press-ups. You're also combating your brain's automatic response that says, when I come home, I will go to the sofa and watch TV. So when Basic Mike comes home from work and his brain says, next action, go to the sofa, his brain also now tells him, well, it's going to be more difficult to do that because my TV isn't there. And what you are doing is removing that old behavior and frees up brain power to create your new habit. So my third and final point for you in building positive habits is what's called the art of showing up. One of the hardest things to do when creating a new habit is thinking about the impact on your life. So if you're trying to create a new positive habit about exercise, the feeling is that you're not going to get fit and healthy unless you go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. But what this means is that you're trying to create a habit which is significantly different to what you're currently doing and is just too much of a change. So when you're there at 6 in the morning thinking, I need to go to the gym and exercise, it becomes far more difficult to achieve when you think about having to do an hour-long workout routine. Or if you're trying to learn the guitar, thinking about practicing for an hour at a time is significantly more than just doing a scale. So what the art of showing up is creating a habit with the minimum possible achievement. So if it's about playing guitar, you say that I'm just going to play one note. So if you are creating this habit where at 4 o'clock in the afternoon you play guitar for half an hour, then actually this habit becomes at 4 o'clock I will play one note on my guitar. This doesn't sound like it's going to achieve anything, but actually what you are doing is showing up to practice and removing that risk that you'll say it's too difficult to achieve, so I don't bother doing it at all. And actually, over the course of a month, practicing every day, you've played 30 notes more than if you never practiced at all. Similarly, if you did this with scales, you've played 30 more scales than if you never practiced at all. And then when you are there and you've showed up and you've played that note, you'll then say, well, I'm here now, so I might as well play some more. And this is about removing the fear factor of creating a new habit. It's about the fear of failure that can come from setting too high of an achievement. By showing up, you then are able to create momentum. And momentum means that you can go from playing one note to playing a scale, to playing a piece, to playing for half an hour, to etc., playing an hour, playing the whole day. Whatever it is, the momentum means that you can achieve more by setting the minimum goal, turning up, and then doing more. And momentum doesn't stop there. When you have created this habit and it no longer becomes a chore to turn up at 4 o'clock and play the guitar, and actually you'll reach a point where playing for half an hour doesn't seem like a chore. It's now just a passive activity that then wanting to play for an hour or 2 hours or go and perform at a gig suddenly become a much more achievable goal than when you first started out. By using these 3 techniques, you're able to create a positive change in your life that then means that success is not just an action, but a habit. So go out there, create positive habits, and start being a role model to your friends and family. And if you like this video, let me know in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe.